everybody, PattyAnne here. Listen, I just want to show you another reason why the Digi Chicks love using digital stamps in our club. And you've seen what they've done previously with this same stamp set. This set comes from DigiDoodleStudios.com. I'm not affiliated with them. I just love the parable stamps and all the stamps actually that Dina makes there. But this is the regular stamp size, right? If you bought a stamp, you might be able to stamp out like this. But check this out, which is the free version of Silhouette Studio. You could stamp her out or you could print her out. Of course, you need a printer. You could print her out this big on cardstock. And you don't even need to have a Silhouette machine to print this, just a printer, right? And then also, if you do have a Silhouette machine, and I have a Cameo, I also have a Cricut machine, as you might see in the background behind me. But if you have a Cameo machine and you have a large mat, you can make her this big into a print then cut. And I got to tell you, she's about, let's see, well, I can tell you by looking up at my screen. So let's go up there and see just how big I can make this Digi Stamp if I'm having a party or something like that, or I just want to make something really large for fun. So follow me up to my screen and let's get busy. Okay, here I wanted to show you where I get these stamps that I love so much. And by the way, make sure you look up here at the top. New customers take 10% off of all Digi Stamps with this Digi code. Okay, so the ones that I like to do is I scroll down here. The Digi Stamps are beautiful. The paper packs are really cool, but I like to go with the parables. Okay, when you get the parables, it's almost like buying a stamp set like you get with regular stamps because you get all the extra little components that go with it. Now, it's all, like, say for instance, this one here is $9. That's all you're going to have to spend. You can make it any size you want. You don't need die cuts to cut them out. They're wonderful. Well, the one that the Digi Chicks used today was one called Elves. So I've got to look through here and see where it is. There's so many cute ones. She really does a fabulous job making these. They're so cute. And you not only get the stamps or the images, but you get extra little pieces to go with it. You get sentiments. Here it is. This is what they use, the Christmas Elves Parable Set. Remember, you can save 10% on it. So this is what they used in the club live today that you saw them working on. And all you have to do is add it to your cart. And of course, you'll put the code in there so you can save 10%. Again, I'm not affiliated. What I love also, though, about Dina's site is she always has little examples down here that she shows of what people have done with this set. And I think that's really fun because it kind of gives you an idea of what you could do. So anyway, so there's some of them using all different kind of colors and different things. So it's really cute. So what you would do is simply download that, and then you're just going to unzip it. And I'll go back to Silhouette now. And I've already brought her in, but let's start another one. So I have it set up for Auto Cameo. I do want to make sure that I'm in the basic edition or the standard edition because, you know, you can buy the business edition and do all kinds of really, really, really cool stuff for your Cricut machine. You'll have to buy the business edition. I think it's on sale right now for $48. Check out my link down below this video and you'll find the link where it has been $48. When I purchased mine, it was $99 and I still thought it was a deal. It's just a one-time fee. You don't have to pay monthly for it like you have to with some of those other programs, maybe a Photoshop one or something like that. There's a one-time fee, $68. It's yours. You own it. But today, I'm just going to work in the standard edition, the free version, in case you don't really know if you want to buy it yet. So I have this open, and I can actually just go over here and change my machine to none, and change my cutting mat to none, and change my media size to, now I can change this to any size that my printer will print. My particular printer will print, I think it's 11 by 22 or something like that. But what we'll go with is Let's go with custom, and I'm going to make it the size of legal size paper. Legal size paper in the United States is 8.5, okay, wide by, and let me double check here in my what I was looking at, 8.5 by 14. Legal is 8.5 by 14. Maybe your printer does that. And I'll say enter. All right, so there's the size I have to work with. So now I'm going to go to File and Merge, and I'll merge in one of the other little people. How about this one? I'll merge this one in. Comes in rather small, but I can make it as big as I want as long as it fits on those proportions that I said. Now, a smart thing for me to do is when I have this set up is to come down here and show the print border and show the cut border. So that allows me to see barely right here is the print border. So I don't want to make it go outside of that. So probably the largest that I can make this would be like 11 by, I could probably make it a little bit bigger. Not that much bigger. I think that's going to fit, but what I'll do is I'll just turn that in a little bit. Okay. I'll just leave it like that, and that should print just fine. So if I go to File and Print, I don't even have to have any machine or anything. And look, I do have extra space. That's because I had this set up for my other setting. So let's go back there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I had this custom one set up for my printer. My printer that will print 11 by, I'm going to make it 11 by 17. Okay. And my media size is 11 by 17. So now I can make this a lot larger because I have a large format printer. But again, you may just have one that will just do legal size, so you can change that over there. So let's go to, let's see what size this is. It's going to be a 10.5 inches over that times 15. Let's go to File and Print. Notice it's going to fit on there perfectly. And so I would just say Print, and I'm going to come over here, and you'll learn how to do this with your own printer. I'll make sure that mine is set on cassette 2 that has 11 by 17 paper in it. I'll say OK and print. It's going to do a print preview because that's what I have it set up to do. Just one extra step which I can delete. I was just doing this when I was setting it up originally. But there it is. And I'll just say print. And in just a moment I'll bring it over to you to show you what we get. But in the meantime, let's go back to Silhouette. Now here we are. Like I said, you can do this. You don't even have to have a Silhouette machine. All you need is a printer, and you can print this out on cardstock or whatever you'd like for cutting, for printing, and then cutting around it if you wanted to. If you wanted to do this as a print then cut, however, you'd have to come up here and turn on the third button over to the right. Now this is just if you have, let's see, I gotta make my media size active. Cutting mat. I'll say my cutting mat is, well, my machine, I'm going to make that a Cameo. My cutting mat, I'm going to make it a 12 by 24. Okay. And then what I wanted to do was set on the registration mark. So this could be a print then cut. But before I do that, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add an offset to this. I like a nice white offset around mine before I do that. So I'd come over here to the offset, say offset. Notice that put a perfect little offset around this. I could make it larger if I wanted to. And in more advanced classes, I'll tell you how to get rid of little cuts that are in here. But for this purpose, I'll just show you, you could make that border or that offset be any color you want by coming up here and clicking it. And there I made a red offset. I could make it any color I wanted to. And then I'll come back up here to the page setup, turn on my registration marks. Right now they're off. Turn them on and check it out. looks like a little bit of my person is going to be outside of the cut line, which is fine if I don't mind cutting this manually right there and here with my scissors, but I can always make it a little tiny bit small. Whoops, gotta grab both of them. Gotta grab both things. And I should actually just go ahead and group and make it a little bit smaller so it will fit perfectly like that. Maybe move it over with my arrow key just a hair. Looks good. So then I would just say print again, and we'll see if it would print in there. Look at that. And it would print the black and white, or the black lines, leave the white, and it would also print the red, say. So maybe you don't want that. But I want to show you something else you could do if you'd like. So let's go ahead and remove the offset. Oops, got to click off and then ungroup it. Get rid of that offset. Then we're going to come over here, make him a little smaller if I want to. I'm going to show you how you can color him in here too before you print him. So let's go to the offset panel, the trace panel, the trace panel. Select the trace area. So I'm just going to trace him. And if I accidentally let loose before I'm done, I can just grab more. And I can turn my threshold up a little bit if I'd like and say trace. And again, this is in the free version of this software. So I'm showing you how you can make an SVG. Okay, you might find this to be a little advanced, but I have tons and tons of videos on how to do this. So if you do want to make your own SVGs for your Cricut machine or your Cameo, keep following along. So the first thing I do after I've already done this is, well, what I can do is get rid of those registration marks because I'm not going to make this a print and cut. So I'm going to come up here to the third button over and turn those off. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the outer edge of this and make it a color by coming up here to the upper left hand corner. Making it a color I don't usually use in my little elves for these things. So I'll just make it this light tealish color. Okay. And once I've done that, what I do next is I come up here to Object, Release the Compound Path. Doesn't really matter if you know why you're doing that. Just remember these are the steps that you take. First of all, you change the outermost edge of the border to the color you're not going to use. Then you come to Object and Release Compound Path. And what that does is it puts little boxes around everything, as you can see right here. So the next thing I can do though is I can go through here and change every one of these colors to something that I might like to use for him. So I can click on one part of the foot, hold down my shift key, click on the other, and change that maybe to a brown. Maybe the rest of his shoe I can change to greens or reds, whatever. Maybe a green. And maybe this part of his neck thing I can make the same green. And let's see, this looks like a pen quill, so maybe I'll make that a bluish color. I don't know. Okay, and all of this stuff right here should be white because it's the paper. So I'm holding down my shift key while I'm grabbing, hopefully, all the little pieces that are meant to be white because they're the paper. So I'll come up here and change those to white, and I missed a couple things, as you can see right here, here. So I'll change those to white as well. That looks pretty good. I'm not sure that this is supposed to be white right there though. That's probably supposed to be his outfit. So I'm going to change that to red. I don't know for sure. I'd have to look at this more closely. But I can just go ahead and keep coloring these things like this until I'm happy with how I have it all colored. I could make these little bell type things goldish. And this little poof white. And oh, there's some more of those little bells. Gold. I can grab that same color I used because it's right here. And again, I would just continue going through here and changing these colors to whatever I would like them to be. And once I was done coloring all of this, don't know for sure what those things are. this probably doesn't even need to be there, but we'll leave that for now. That's an advanced topic. Anyway, let's pretend like I've colored this all the way I want it to be. I can go back, and before I group it, I want to grab the outermost part. So notice I'm clicking way out here. Oh, I didn't get all of it. The box isn't around everything. I'm trying to grab the outermost part. There we go, I got it. So I want to change the color of that to black. Then you can see how that works, and I will show you in later videos how to change some of these other things to black. You'll be using some other tools over here, but this is just if you want to do this like this. So anyway, so what I would do now is I would just grab all of this and group it. And now let's pretend like I have this all colored the way I want it to be in my software for Silhouette, and it's fine like this. If I want to do a print then cut, okay, I could actually change some of these things to different colors. Like maybe I want, let's ungroup this for a second, and maybe I want this to be a different color, and I want it to be maybe a pattern. And maybe I want it to be, let's go way down here towards, oh, how about this? Oh, that'd be cute, right? And of course I'd color his hair and all that kind of thing. But you can see how you can color these things. And then all I would do is go to File and Print. And you're going to see it's going to show exactly what's going to print. Now notice there were some red lines in here. Red lines don't print ever. But this is what would print, so I would cancel this. So if I did want this to be a print like that, I would have to go ahead and change these red lines to something else. Like I could leave them as red, but I would have to change the point size of them up. Now once I change the point size, you're going to see one of these eyeballs is going to show up. But again, this is getting into more advanced stuff that you probably aren't really ready for yet. So there we go. See how that shows up as red? And I can teach you how to make it black instead and how to color his eyes. But basically today what I'm showing you is how you can take your stamp, your Digi Stamp, and make it any size you want to. And then just color it by markers, Copic markers, regular markers, watercolors, watercolor pencils, regular colored pencils. There's just so many things you could do with this area over here. If you just printed him out, huge. Now if you did want to have him, let's say we did want to have him as a something that we could cut out with our machine and having all the little pieces cut out. If you're going to do this with your Silhouette, it's very easy, just like this. If you're going to do it with Cricut, however, there's one more step you'll need to take, and that is this. You'll need to go up here to this little paint select by color area, come over here when that pops up to buy fill, and then you're going to choose these things. So check that out. When I clicked on that, a whole slew of things were chosen. I'm going to right click and say make compound path. Okay, I'm going to go to the green. A bunch of those were selected. Right click, make it a compound path. If I don't do that, let's try another one. This doesn't need to be made a compound path because it's just one thing. The reds though, look, there's all these different reds that are selected. If I don't make them a compound path, each one of these little pieces will be a separate layer over in Cricut Design Space. If, on the other hand, I click on this and it grabs all the red and I say right click, make compound path, now when I take this apart, look at that, it stays all together as one piece. It'll be one layer. If you're doing this in vinyl, it will be perfect for that. So let's see, do I have anything else? The black is just one big piece behind. So let me move the red a little bit. I'm using my arrow key to move it easily. Okay, so now all I'm going to do, so I'm just going to grab all this and just group it. And obviously I haven't colored him the way I'd really want him to be. But now if I want to save him as an SVG to cut him out in Cricut, he will work perfectly, except that, check this out. If I go to File, Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, I can name it as Elf. And my options for saving it are very limited in this free version. It works fine if you're using a cameo machine. If you're using a portrait machine, which I love, it works fine. However, if you want this to be a print then cut or an SVG for your Cricut machine, you have to buy the business edition. And as I said, the business edition is only $48 right now. It's on sale. Grab the link down below. Grab it now. I bought it when it was $99 and I loved it. I think I said that earlier. But grab it now for $48. Anyway, let me show you what it will look like now if you have the business edition. So since I have it, I can just go to Help and View In. So right now I've been showing you what it looks like in the standard or free version. Everything you can do. You could print this just like this, but if you want it to be an SVG that can come apart into pieces, or you want to put an offset around this and have it a print then cut, you need to buy the business edition. One-time fee. Now check this out. If I go to File, Save Selection, save it to my hard drive, check this out. If I name it Elf again, and look at all these optional ways that I can save this now. These were the two options that were available before, but now I can also save it as an SVG, a PNG, a JPEG. So I'm going to save it as an SVG, and it's named Elf. I'll save it in my downloads so I can show you. So let's go over to Cricut, and let me get rid of this guy. Go to Upload, Upload an Image, Browse, Elf, there he is, Open. Here he comes in just like this. I'll say Save. Comes in. Again, I would have colored him the way I wanted him to be. But check this out. Oh, I didn't do the white. Notice that the white is all separate pieces, as are the yellow. See how they're all separate layers? But the red is all one layer. Let me show you how we can fix that. Let's X this one out. Go back over to Silhouette. Go up here to this thing again and go down and find my white. Oh, I got to ungroup him first because I had grouped him. Just grab my white. With my white selected, right click and say Make a Compound Path. Now you noticed a minute ago when we had him open, every one of those white pieces was a separate layer. Same with the brown. If I right click and say Make it a Compound Path, what else? Was there anything else? The white, the red is okay. The blue is just one piece. The yellow. Let's look at these now. Right now they're separate pieces, right? Control Z and make it go back. If I click on this and right click and say, or come up here to Object and Make it a Compound Path. There we go. So now I'm going to save this again. I'm going to group it all again. And I'm going to go to File, Save Selection, save it to the hard drive, and I'll name this one Elf 2. Just so you can see the difference. And I'll save it as a SVG. Okay. So now let's go back over to Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to bring this guy back in here so you can see. Remember, look over here at all these white pieces. Every one of them is a layer by itself, right? Okay, I'm going to minimize that like that now. And we'll just move him over here. Now let's bring in the other one we just saved. I'll upload him. Upload an image, browse, Elf 2, open, and we'll say save, and we'll import him or insert him. Now check this guy out. Look at his white is just one layer. His whatever color that is, blue, no, what is that? I can't tell. The green is just one layer. The brown is just one layer. So if we went to make it, okay, let's cancel this for a second. Let's hide this guy first. I'm going to hide him. And if we just go to make this guy, check out how many pieces there are on the white. Just one, because we made them a compound path over there, which made them all grouped together like this. The black is like this, the brown, the yellow, and all of these pieces are going to be exactly where they need to be for our finished product. So let's cancel this one now. Let's hide him. And let's look at this guy and say make it. Now check out the difference. See these pieces? They're not at all where we want them to be. Okay? And nor are these. Nothing is where we need it to be. They're all mushed up where we don't want them. So that's not what we want. So the best thing to do when you're over in Silhouette is to make the like colors a compound path. And you can rewind this video and see how I did that. But anyway, let's go back now to my desktop because I just want to show you one more time the advantage of having Digi Stamps over regular stamps. Okay, here we are again. This again may be the size of a stamp that you may purchase just in a set, right? But so you can use this, you can put an offset around it. I colored this one on my computer and printed it. It was a print then cut. But listen, not only that, you can make that same little girl much larger as a print then cut on cardstock. Now some of these others I made larger. I just did them on my paper that I have because I didn't want to use all my cardstock up. But this is a print then cut because I don't know if you can see, but I've added the registration marks. So this would be cut right around her. And then this one right here, I just made it a regular file, and I'm just having some fun right now, just coloring it a little bit. So I'm just using my colored pencils, Prisma colored pencils. I'll have a link for you down below in case you're curious what in the world I'm using right here. But as you know, a lot of times I use watercolors and all kind of stuff. But this is just the beauty of having a Digi Stamp, because you don't just have to have a stamp this size. You can make it this size. This one right here, I'm not sure if you're seeing all this in my screen, but this guy right here is about 15.5 inches tall, right? And that just came from my Digi Stamp. So I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. For those of you who are new to using Digi Stamps, digital images, especially in Silhouette software, I have tons of videos. Subscribe. I bring them out all the time. At least one a week. There's a new one, more than that actually. But also I have a Patreon group. If you'd like to join our Patreon group, we are strictly working with Silhouette software in that. So again, thanks a lot for joining me. See you all again very soon. Hey, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Digi Chicks before this, check it out. You'll never believe what they did with these stamps. So, again, thanks a lot. Bye, y'all.